Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sita and I make videos about housemanship. Program Transformasi Minda, PTM for short, translates to Mind Transformation Program. It's a mandatory part of joining the government service in Malaysia, and it goes without saying that this is something that you've got to do before you start your housemanship. So I've just come out of my own PTM and I want to share with you in this video what it's all about, what I learned, and most importantly, is my mind transformed? Alright, so the first thing I want to address is the logistics. The Surat Panggilan PTM, or the letter that you're going to download from eHouseman that sort of specifies everything that you need to know about PTM, please read every article in this letter. Like, it tells you about your dress code, it tells you the documents that you need to prepare, and here's pro tip number 1. There are only 5 documents that they asked us to prepare, and you can fill them all out, scan them, and prepare them in your hard copy and soft copy. And please make sure the document size does not exceed 2 megabytes. It's really easy to compress documents online. So this is not one of those things that you want to be bothering the admin people with, because it's something super obvious and that you've already gone through if you had gone through the merits system. Speaking of merits, if you didn't watch my video about what housemanship is, I will link that in the description box below or put that somewhere on the screen. Or do both. Alright, back to the logistics. So the first thing is, please make sure that you've got those 5 documents and that you've scanned them, and make sure that they are less than 2 megabytes. And also make sure that you've got hard copy that you've set aside that you will submit to the hospital once you're there. Second pro tip is, please wear pants. I'm not saying that I did this, because I didn't, but they will ask you randomly to stand up. Your webcam will have to be turned on the entire duration of the program. So please make sure that you're in a room where nobody's walking behind you, have a presentable background, be dressed smart, casual, and yes, definitely 100% wear pants. Now that's the logistics parts taken care of. The second part that I want to talk about is when I asked my friends what PTM was like, most of them just said it was really dull. Then again, most of them also had their PTM in real life, not online. So they didn't really have much to say about it. What I'm going to tell you is that it doesn't matter if it's online or it's offline, because the staff that are organizing this from the Ministry of Health, they really make such an effort to make it somewhat enjoyable for people who just graduated medical school. So in one of the rounds that we did, we had to play the Squid Game, which is something on Netflix that I didn't even know about. And they have you play this game online and kick you out if you've lost. And eventually the winners will become team leaders that will help facilitate the program over the next 2.5 days. So it can be an enjoyable experience, and these are people that you're going to be working with in the future. So, lighten up and try and have a good time as much as you can. They will also randomly call out your name because they have the name list. So be aware, don't turn down the volume and be watching something on the side, or because they will just be like, Dr. Whoever, are you there? What do you think? So you want to be around for that. Yes. PTM is an introduction to not just housemanship, but it's an introduction to what working in the government service is like. If you've never worked before, if you've never worked in government service before, they tell you about all the things that you can expect, like how it's really important to have a good first impression, how important it is to be dressed neat. These may seem like really nothing things, but they matter a lot in Malaysia, and you do want to make a good first impression because everything is performance based. So now you know that we are no longer permanently employed, but we're on a contract system, and whether or not they offer you a position later depends on all these itty bitty little things that probably add up. So try and bring your best professional self to any occasion is sort of what they will be saying to you over the couple of days. And the second thing is, yes, it's an introduction to what it's like to work in the government service. It is also an introduction to everything you can expect in housemanship. I was quite fortunate to have a really, really fun, carefree doctor who made a really he made it really enjoyable to listen to what this was all going to be like. I mean, he made medical, legal things interesting, so you can imagine how much of a character he was. He also referenced a complete guidebook for housemanship that some doctor had written, and it's about 50 to 60 pages. I'll link that in the description below. You can download that quite easily. In the future, however, I will read this and review it, so you can just watch that video if you don't feel so inclined to read all the 50 pages. And he refers to that book as the Bible of housemanship. So that's pretty cool. Free resources we like. The third thing that happened during our PTM was we had to take a psychology test that was designed by some dude from Malaysia, which was rather problematic. Like, it was, like a 90 question, 1 for least, 5 for most sort of setup. But what I found really strange was that, yes, they're trying to measure like your confidence, your leadership, your how good you can accept people with differences and religions, etc. What I found really strange was actually the fact that when I answered, like, one of the questions was asking, I think I'm the best at everything that I do. And I'm like, of course not. What if I had to be making furniture, or if I had to write code? I can't do these things, so of course I'm not the best person to do it, right? Logic. However, multiple versions of this question came up, and it just ended up me being not confident. Like, I don't really know how that works. Like, if you don't think that you're the right person for the job, or if you don't think that you are the most suitable candidate, or if you are better than everyone else, surely that shouldn't mean that I'm not confident. It just means that I have some element of humility, and I don't think that insanely high of myself. So yeah, there is a psychology test, but the takeaway is that the guy that was presenting it was saying that it's not that important for you to fixate on the outcome and all your shortcomings, but focus on the fact that your personality can be improved, and in this working environment, a lot of things about you are going to change over the 2 years. So that was kind of motivating. My friends didn't necessarily tell me anything useful about what this experience was like. They just said, yeah, it was dull, it was charama after charama after charama. I get it, like when you start a new job, they want to orient you, and that's something that's got to happen. But what I find people don't tell you, or what I wasn't told, was that how every single talk, every single point that each presenter is presenting is meant to benefit you over the next 2 years when you're in housemanship. Like, they go over every article in your contract, like your employment contract, which is stuff that you should know. They go over how many days off you get, what your basic pay is, what your allowances are, and basically tell you every itty bitty thing that you're meant to know when you are working full-time at the government service. There is something very empowering about knowing what you're walking into, and I really think that as far as, even though it was only a 2.5 day affair, I felt like, yeah, I was quite properly oriented. I felt like I had a much better idea as to what to expect working for the government and starting my housemanship. They talked also about like the common medication errors and prescription errors and stuff. Like, these are things that are useful, that will save lives, and it felt really nice to hear all of these things again, to be thrown back into the hospital world, so to speak. So I'm not going to say that my mind was completely transformed, but there was definitely a mindset shift from before and after I started, and I'm really grateful that the Ministry of Health went through all these lengths to make sure that we felt a little bit more prepared and managed to turn everything online for the convenience of the pandemic, etc. In the next video, I want to talk about whether or not pre-housemanship preparatory courses are even necessary. So I asked a bunch of my friends whether or not they signed up for any of these courses that were circulating on Telegram, and their answer was just so to the point. It's like, wait a minute, housemanship is 2 years of time allocated to prepare you to become a doctor, and you want to prepare for that preparation? Why? So if you want to know my thoughts on that, please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel and turn on the little notification icon so that you know what my thoughts are on pre-housemanship prep courses. And if you have any questions for me, if you're a friend, if you want to say hi, please leave me a comment. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.